Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Andi Astri Arsan. I'm from English Literature Class B, and I will tell you about the reason for psychoanalysis for cultural studies. Freud compares the relationship between the id and the ego as similar to a person riding a horse. The horse supplies the locomotive energy, while the rider has the privilege of deciding on the goal and of guiding the powerful animal's movement. But only too often there are erises between the ego and the id, the not precisely ideal situation of the rider being obliged to guide the horse along the path by which itself wants to go. According to Lacan, we are born into a condition of lack and subsequently spend the rest of our lives to trying to overcome this condition. Lack is experienced in different ways and as different things, but it is always a non-representable expression of the fundamental condition of being human. The result is an endless quest in search of an imagined moment and plenitude. Lacan figures this as a search for what he terms objectivity, that which is desired but forever out of reach, a lost object signifying an imaginary moment in time when we were whole. Unable to ever take hold of this object, we console ourselves with displacement strategies and substitute object. The mere stage occurs at a time when the child's physical ambitions outstrip his motor capacity, with the result that his recognition of himself is joys on that he imagines his mirror image to be more complete, more perfect than he experienced his own body. Recognition is thus overlaid with misrecognition. The image recognized is confessed as the reflected body of the self, but its misrecognition as superior projects this body outside itself is an ideal ego. The alienated subject, which rejects as an ego ideal, gives rise to the future generation of identification with others. Fantasy is not the same as illusion. Rather, fantasy organizes how we see and understand reality. It works as a frame through which we see and make sense of the world. Our fantasies make us unique. They provide us with our point of view, organizing how we see and experience the world around us. How does psychoanalysis deal with human behavior? Psychoanalysis suggests that people can experience catharsis and gain insight into their current state of mind by bringing the content of the unconscious into conscious awareness. Through this process, a person can find relief from psychological distress. The reason why psychoanalysis deals with reading texts because psychoanalytic literary criticism is literary criticism or literary theory which, in method, concept, or form, is influenced by the tradition of psychoanalysis begun by Sigmund Freud. Psychoanalytic criticism fused with the artist, including authors and neurotic. Psychoanalysis analyzes culture because cultural analysis done psychoanalytically examines extant culture, attempting to elucidate unconscious dimensions of the collective cultural psyche and of individual constituents and seeking to understand correlations between the individual psyche and the cultural collective psyche. In psychoanalytic theory, dreams represent with fulfillment unconscious desires and conflicts. Latent content represent the repressed symbolic meaning embedded within the dream. During dream analysis, the person in therapy shares the manifest content of the dream with the therapist. Freud said that the interpretation of dreams is the royal road to a knowledge of the unconscious activities of the mind. He meant that because dreams are such an unconscious activity, they give an almost direct insight into the workings of the unconscious mind. Marxism deals with collective social process and structure, with class struggle, and with history process in general. Freud pursues the analysis of the individual, of his resulting individual instinctual structure and development. The goal of Freudian psychoanalysis is to understand the personality through levels of awareness and our three minds: conscious, pre-conscious, and unconscious. This conscious mind is everything that we are aware of and is also the part of our mentality that use rationally. So that's all about me. Thank you for watching. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.